Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for your support. Today, I have Jacqui Miller, application architect, and none other but a Uipath MVP. So, Jacqui, thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here.
Same here. So, Jacqui, before we jump into our interview, why don't you introduce yourself?
Perfect. Thank you. My name is Jacqui Muller. I am an application architect with Dimension Data. I'm actually heading up our automation business. And I'm also a lecturer at Northwest University, where I am trying to help third-year students who are currently doing their IT and computer science degrees become more prepared for industry.
Wow, that seems interesting. Well, one thing that Jackie and I share as common is that we both love data analytics, of course, apart from the automation. So, yes, I'm really excited to see more collaboration going forward. So, stay tuned in. Well, as you know that the campaign for UiPath MVP 2023 has begun. Well, the nominations are pouring in. So, let me ask you, what did you do differently when you were recognized as an MVP? What was your contribution that made you stood out?
I think the content that I covered in my blog post is probably what separated me from the other candidates. I really tried to take a traditional approach to the way that we could use UiPath, and I tried to compare it to other tools. So something we're facing quite a lot in South Africa is understanding, when you would use UiPath versus something like Microsoft Power Automate. So what I had done is, we'd faced quite a few client projects, and I thought it would be a good idea to kind of put those checklists down and understand what that comparison would look like. So I did that, and then I also did a few other things where I started looking at introducing design patterns and test-driven development strategies and those kinds of things for how you'd actually put together UiPath solutions so that they are scalable and that the longevity of the solutions could actually be maintained. So I think if there was anything that put me apart from the different candidates that had applied for or were nominated for the awards, I think it would definitely be that take on the platform essentially.
Wow, that's interesting. With the camera carrying culture and also with the innovative technology always popping in and developing like
Exactly.
every next second, what I admire is your traditional approach. Well, that's an innovative take and definitely worth the award and the recognition. So, as you mentioned that, there is a screening process we have normally for this award. So, how was your experience? Would you love to make a change or do you see an area of improvement? Or do you think that the way that they're screening right now is great? Because this year the screening process has added few more categories that people can nominate themselves. But overall, what's your take on the screening process?
So the screening process, I think, is pretty interesting, and for all intents and purposes, I think it works quite well. So when you have the community manager talk to you and understand, what is your technical ability? Do you understand how the platform works? And if there's a specific part of the platform that you can interact with, what do you know well? That kind of stuff. And then also understanding, how do you contribute to the community? How do you engage with the community? Do you mentor people? What is the take on the way that you give back to the community? I think is a really big part of the MVP award, and I'm really happy that is something that is actually evaluated as part of the screening process. So I think there's a very thin line or very interesting balance that needs to be kept between being very technically able and then also being able to actually take what you know technically and introduce it to the community or share with the community. So most of the criteria around the MVP award is actually being able to bring those two together, which I very much enjoy. I think it's a really good way to look at the screening process.
Absolutely agree. And I think there's one level where we actually talk to the product community managers, or
Yeah.
rather, yeah, I think that's like one of the areas where they see how's your contribution to the community. It does not really have to be technology, but your passion for contribution, making sure that you're actually spreading good word about UiPath and spreading correct information around the same. But yes, you know,
Exactly.
yes. Well, that brings me to my next question, and that would be, what is the essence of this award? Like, how was your life before that, and how has your career improved after this? Did it make like a huge difference? Did it open a box of opportunities for you?
Yes. So I don't think I could ever have evaluated or understood or even predicted how much it would change my life. I have kind of, come to realize that when you have access to such a large community, and you help people and people can help you with your problems, it's so much easier to solve problems. It's so much easier to run into situations where you can actually ask somebody for help. My network has grown massively over the last year, and that has really helped me reach out and provide more back. So from an aspect of actually being able to get help and give help, that has been phenomenal. And then also the job opportunities and those kinds of things that have come my way have also been absolutely phenomenal. Being able to talk to clients about a product that you're so passionate about, and also have that accolade to say, Uipath trusts me to say what I am saying, and for that reason I think you should maybe look at doing this and this and this in your environment. It just gives the client so much trust in your abilities as well, which we've seen to be a massive, massive improvement. So that's definitely a lot of value that we've pulled out from this award.
Well, absolutely. That's an interesting value add that we have. And I've heard the similar items from the other MVP. And thank you for adding on top of it, Jackie. So, so like you said that you had a traditional approach, but I'm not sure that if everybody could, really do that. So, what are
Yeah.
your tips and tricks that you would, suggest to our upcoming MVPs or people who would love to participate for this awards?
So I think, when you're working with UiPath and you're working in the RPA field or any automation field, really, you're going to run into challenges that you can't really find answers for on the forum or on, the web. And I think one of the most important things that I started doing, which has really changed the way that I actually approach problem solving, is to actually just document what the solution was. Because even if there isn't a solution, the way that the nature of our business is to keep pushing until you get a solution. So as soon as you found that solution, document what the solution was, tell people what the steps are that you follow to be able to get to your solution, and put that out there. Let other people learn from it, because the more other people learn from the things that you've experienced and the things that you've done, the better it is going to be for you to not only go back and see what you did in a few years' time when you're running into the same problem, but also helping other people. You're giving them the opportunity to reach out and ask for further guidance and more questions. And I think that is a really big tip that I could give anybody, whether it be in a video that you put on YouTube or whether it be a blog post. Just make sure you put all of that stuff down. Get involved in the Uipath community, write blog posts, get your content out there. Let other people learn from what you've experienced.
Well, that's a different take on your approach or solution provisioning. For example, even if you're on the community forum, you are not able to solve your questions, please put down what you had experimented. That's so true. That will save time for others rather than them going into the same loop and experimenting on similar items. Rather, they can read your experience and try a different approach. Wow, that's really a different take, Jackie. Thank you. Thank you for introducing that to us. Um,
Perfect. You're welcome.
yes. All right, so Jackie, apart from being the architect, I would love you to suggest us that what are your tricks, or rather, I would say mantras, that no matter whenever you follow it, success is always there. So, I tell people that whenever I do any task, I make sure that communication is the key. This might be repetitive, but honestly, communication is the key, and transparent communication can always help you achieve your task just the way you have desired. So,
Yes.
Jackie, what's your mantra?
I'm actually going to steal a page out of one of the famous women in our industry who actually works for IBM, Jenny Rometty. She had a saying that's always spoken to me: growth and comfort do not coexist. So if you're growing, then you shouldn't be comfortable, and if you're comfortable, you're not growing. And that has been something that has been monumentally valuable for me, because I mean RPA and UiPath, aren't specifically old or haven't been in the industry for a very long time. So it really does give you a lot of opportunity to grow and not remain comfortable, because the way that the platform is actually growing and expanding, if you're looking at everything that they're bringing in and you're trying to keep up with that, it's a great way to grow. I mean, realistically, you won't know everything about the UiPath platform, and that's completely okay. But even if you look at one specific product, every single product in the stack grows monumentally every 6 months. So if you can just keep up to date with those different updates, it's a really good way just to start growing and to ensure that you're keeping up to those steps that you've put out for yourself.
Correct. Exactly. No, I absolutely agree with that. And with this latest technology, how do you keep yourself updated? Like you said that, you focus on one product and then you look for the updates that's introduced for the product. But then what are your go-to websites, or do you have any favorite YouTuber that you would love to recommend?
I mean, I think it's probably going to be a very common answer, but the Uipath forum really is the place that I go to for any updates. I follow a lot of the product team on LinkedIn, and I also have a few MVPs and YouTubers on my LinkedIn as well. So a lot of the updates that I see come from there. One of the best things that you can do is link up with your community manager. Pretty much anything that happens in Uipath is shared through the community managers. So it is a really good way of keeping up to date with the new changes.
Exactly. And for me, I have actually subscribed for the insider program. That is also one
Yes,
way that I realized that, yes, something new has been introduced. Also, I
yes.
love to participate and give my contribution before even the product is made public. So that is my go-to place, of course, apart from the forum and the community managers' help. Well,
Yes, that's brilliant.
yes. Well, that brings us to end of our conversation today. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jacqui, for making sure that you give us some time and throw the insights on how to become a UiPath MVP and the traditional approach that you have introduced. That's something that we'll not be forgetting. Thank you.
Thank you so much.